It's not a very sexy topic, but the second best thing you can do to lower your energy consumption is take a look at your insulation, okay? There's 4 ways you can do it. Let's have a look at it. Insulation's very important. You know, you spend all this money heating a place, and then all the heat just flows out through the walls, through the doors, through the windows, etc. So, you know, we're just all wasting money. I say there's 4 ways to check your insulation levels. There's probably 5, and the 5th one's where do you live? If you live in the UK, I'll put money on the fact that your insulation is probably not good, not unless you've made a special effort to improve it, okay? The UK is renowned for having poorly insulated houses. I sat next to a guy at a conference once. He won the prize as Best Building Insulator of the Year. Yes, there is such a thing. And I sat next to him, I was chatting to him, and he says, you know, our housing stock is a joke. Okay, so if you live in the UK, it's probably bad. 4 ways you can look at your insulation levels. Number 1, is the age of the building. You know, every year people re-examine what's called the building codes, and they get more and more stringent of saying about how much insulation you've got to put in by law when you build either a new office or a new house. So as time has progressed, insulation levels have got better and better. So the first thing you can do is, are you in an old building? If you are, chances are you've got poor insulation, okay? Second is look at the method of construction. So if you live in, if your office has got like modern 2 skins of brick with good insulation in the middle, you're probably okay. If your office is sort of like older style with older single brick faces, or it's brick with a wooden fascia, or even worse than that, it's a brick ground floor with wood above, which is very common in the UK, then do you know what? Again, you're probably going to have a problem with insulation. The third, and this is where it starts getting a bit technical, is to have a look at your bills through the year. Okay, now if you've got a smart meter on your gas, on your electricity, that's going to help a lot here. But have a look at your bills through the year. What you'll see is in the winter time, you're going to have to spend more effort, more money, more energy heating the place up. So in the winter time, your bill's going to be that, and in the summertime, your bill's going to be that, because people don't run the heating. You know, the same works for aircon, by the way. Just move 6 months either side. You know, the same arguments work. Just time shift it a bit for everything I'm going to say. So heating, you should have a lower heating bill in the summer than the winter, but by how much? If you've got a very steep curve, if you've got a very big difference between your summer and your winter, and that will be a curve like this, it's a U shape really. If your U is very pronounced like that, it means you're very sensitive to outside temperatures. And if you're very sensitive to outside temperatures, that means you've got poor insulation. So what you're looking for, I think all of the sites I've ever looked at do have some form of U, but you're looking at very shallow sort of U shape here. If you've got a big a steep-sided U, you've probably got a problem with the insulation. It is definitely worth checking out to the next level, which is the 4th method I mentioned, which is get yourself a thermographic scan. Okay, it sounds a bit complex, doesn't it? It's not. It means someone turns up at your sort of office or your buildings, wherever you're going to be, with an infrared camera, and they generally look for you to heat the place up massively, as much as you can. Put the heating on full, leave it on full for a couple of hours. Then at night, okay, it works better at night, but it does. When it's not raining and it's not windy, they'll take a picture of the building and see where that heat is escaping out into that cold night. And you know, if you look at the picture here, you can see the different zones where you've got different sort of levels of temperature leaking out to the outside, okay? Now, last time I did one of these, they were about 1,400, 1,500 pounds. You know, that was a professional with all the sort of right sort of certifications. If you want to, if you don't want to pay that, have a look at Amazon. There are some sort of infrared cameras available there. Make sure, if you do get one from like an online vendor and say, okay, I'll have a go myself, which is probably worth doing, to be honest. But if you do that, make sure you can get the entire building, okay? we bought a camera off Amazon once, and it was extremely good at looking at, you know, keyboards and screens and stuff like that. It was rubbish at looking at buildings. So just make sure it's a building level sort of camera. So there you go. 4 methods, with the 5th one being, if you're in the UK, you're probably stuffed. Okay, so 4 methods to look at it. Number 1, when was it built? Number 2, how was your building built? Number 3, what's the shape of that U? Just how steep are those sides? And number 4, have a look at a thermographic scan. If you need any more advice or help, have a look at my book, Net Zero for Business. It's a very practical guide on how you can reduce your carbon and reduce your energy, and what I've been telling you, and other things as well, all contained in there. It's available on Amazon, and if you give it a good review, I'll love you forever and a day. All right, I hope that was useful. I'll see you next time.